everybody. This is Rich Hanlin with Mortgage Ballers. Today I captured another Colorado native. I've got Frank. And Frank, if I say it wrong, is it Villagrana?
Yeah, Villagrana works.
Because you're a big dude. I don't want to say it wrong. I imagine the last person that said it wrong, they can't find him. He's a mile high, buried somewhere.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how many people, it's exactly like it's spelled, but it's all good.
Yeah, I had one the other day. It was looked like Della Torre. She's like, Della Torre. And I was like,
yeah, I guess technically it's Villagrana, but
there it was. See, we knew.
Villagrana is good enough for me.
Right on. Frank, I appreciate you coming on today. I know you're in Colorado, so I think now, are you 2 hours or 3 hours from Georgia time right now, Eastern time?
2 hours. 2 hours.
2 hours.
So
all right. So
after 10 here.
I'm 2 hours ahead of you. It's 10 o'clock your time, 12 my time. So I appreciate you, getting me in today. I like to interview different people at Xpert Home Lending. We got a lot of people at a lot of various stages in loan originating, been doing it for so many years, or brand new. Everybody gets business different. Everybody's in different markets. And we're going to talk about your market, which is not the easiest market. It's an expensive market out there in the Coast Springs, Colorado Springs, for people that don't know what Coast Springs is. Right. But let's start off. Frank, how long you been doing lending? How long you been in the origination and or real estate business?
So I started actually almost 5 years ago. I took my test in May of 2020. So obviously, we had some time. I bartended and served.
Okay.
And so, I had some time when everything shut down. And I had somebody that was a regular that, owned his own mortgage company and thought I'd be good at it. So I had the time. I took it. And so, that's when I started. Like you said, May 2020 was my official.
Great time to get in.
But I mean, it wasn't, because I didn't know anybody, didn't know how to think, what to do. But at least it was busy, so it didn't take me too long to find at least.
Did you say you were a bartender at that time?
Yeah, I still do that actually on the weekends.
Oh, right on. I've always told my wife, like, hey, if I ever have to go back and do anything where I'm going to do it, I'm going to be a bartender. She's like, why do it? I said, because I love talking to people. I'll have my regulars are coming in and we're going to talk. Rich, I need some advice, man. Me and my wife aren't sit on down. Let's get the drink and let's talk about it.
I hear you. No, I think it's made it a little easier for me in this industry because, I don't really have any issues talking to people I don't know. So
no, and there are certain back in the day, believe it or not, you didn't have to have all the licensing like we do now. Kirby vacuum salesmen that would do door to door were some of the best people because their sales techniques were, they wanted to get in that house to show you a free, carpet cleaning or whatever. And I hired a couple of those guys. They became some of my best originators because they would not let people off the phone. And then we got these things called licenses, and that just changed the whole world because half those guys were selling Kirby's for a reason at the time because they probably couldn't get a license today due to possible situations of their past. Let's say it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. We've all made mistakes.
I do like anything that forces you to talk. Because you're not going to be a good bartender if you can't talk, right? I mean,
no, not at all.
Are you just serving drinks? But boy, when you can have a conversation, when you can recall, like, dude, you were here last week. How'd that go? I saw you hitting on that woman, man. Did anything hit in there? It's like, wow, you can remember that? It's like, I remember it all. By the way, I was like, look at your cup. It has my card on it. Give me a call. I've got interest rates for you too.
Yeah, for sure. No, I was always going to remember when everybody drank. So it made me kind of popular there for quite a while.
No, sit down. Here's one question for you.
Kettle One, 30 blue cheese olives. I got you.
The thing that throws me off, and my wife's one of the worst now at this, I'm amazed at all the variations of drinks nowadays. Good Lord. It's almost like going to Starbucks and it's like a 20 thing, by the time you get to the drink and it's like, what the hell is that,
Yeah, they've made it quite an art. I agree. I've done it for 20 years and it's definitely changed over the the scope of that time. Like I said, it's definitely people have taken pride in it, and creativeness has definitely come out, innovativeness in drinks. So
well, right on. Let's throw it out there. Where are you bartending at on the weekend?
Prime 25. So
there we go.
Fine dining, steak and seafood. Yep.
All right. Make sure you're out at Prime 25. Get by and say hi to Frank. Call him out, embarrass him.
There you go. Fridays and Saturday nights. Come and see me.
For you. Obviously, you've only been doing it a couple of years, but if you're still doing it in this market where, 75% of the originators have left the market, you're holding on. You must be, I mean, obviously you have other sources of income with what you're doing, which we all do what we got to do, believe me. What's your favorite part of what you do on the loan sides? What kind of borrower do you like to work with, or you just take anything that comes your way?
I mean, just being in Colorado, I've found myself doing a lot of VA. I mean, we're surrounded by 5 bases. I grew up in the military. I love first-time home buyers. I love that feeling when you're helping somebody and, they thought they would never get to where they're at, and they're just so thankful. And it's just, you help somebody, I think it's a great opportunity to invest in your future buying homes. A lot of people don't do that. People don't have 401ks these days and stuff like that. And, I enjoy helping out. I guess kind of like with bartending, it was finding what somebody needed and helping them enjoy, the rest of the night. In this case, the rest of their next at least few years in a new house. So
I like it. I like it.
yeah,
I have a lot of people in California. They're like, it's so expensive to live here. I'm never going to have retirement. I'm like, cool. Let's get you to a 20-year loan. And at a 20-year loan, you're just going to make the house payment. Your payment just went up $300 a month. But let me show you what you just accomplished rather than putting you in a 30-year loan. And, you'll have a house paid off. What you're going to do with it after that, I don't know. But it's easier to build equity in a house in the amount because you're making those payments anyways versus trying to stack money away to build $1 million in a side account and have the real estate house. So it's and that 20 makes that sucker go away quick compared to always putting it on a 30. You could always go back to a 30, and people say, "Well, I'll do a 30 and make a 20." I've had people do that too because they get worried about it. But the 20 isn't as bad as a 15, and it's sometimes based on the size of the loan. But I've never had a person that a couple years later, when they start seeing it melt away, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I wish I would have done this so long ago. My house would be paid off by now." Because it just annihilates the amount of interest that you're paying. It's just crazy.
Oh yeah.
Now, do you do this by yourself? Are you part of a team? Do you have a team?
So I mean, Darren Cox, he's kind of brought me over. We do the DBA, is Colorado Lending.
Yeah. All right.
But no, I don't really have a team. I use Mylene as my processor when I need,
I
some
know who
help.
Mylene is.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's, part of Xpert. And so this is the fourth company I've been to, second broker.
Okay.
After talking to Darren, I know he's been in the business a long time, and he tried to get me over a little while. And so he's a great asset. But otherwise, it's, pretty much me. I work with a couple teams of agents. But yeah, I mean, besides that, it's just me out here. So I'm hoping Darren brought me over because we want to build a team. We want to make Colorado Lending a little bigger, a little better.
Yeah. I like
a
it.
little more lucrative. So that's the goal.
Nothing wrong with
So,
that. It helps having a team. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been over about 4 months now. So now that I'm starting to pick up steam here at the beginning of the year, which has been nice. That's going to kind of, as the year progresses, that's going to be my focus, hopefully, to try to, bring a couple people on at least.
I can tell you outside of California, Colorado is the number 2 market, and it's right there. But you have to understand, I have like over 400 people that live in California. I don't have 400 people that live in Colorado.
Right.
So half the people doing almost as much of the business that's in California. I mean, it's a neck and neck tie. But I will tell you this, Frank, that September last year was our biggest month of imports. And so far in January, now to February, now to March, we're having back to back to back record imports. Like something's going on.
Nice.
A lot of action is taking place. And so we're starting to see it. Like normally we don't see that till March, maybe April based on the weather, but it hit January 1st right out of the chute. And
Nice.
February was our second biggest month. I think March will beat the old record of last September, and they haven't even lowered the rate since then. But
Yeah.
something's going on out there. I think people are finally saying, "Hey, it's time." And these are imports. These aren't just apps. These are loans being uploaded to a lender to get them done. So they've gone past the application point, which is cool. So there's hope. I'm telling people, depending on where you're at, something's going on. Maybe some areas start to see it first. And I'm not really seeing it in California yet. So that market usually leads us out. But Colorado, Texas, some of these other states, they're seeing it. Like it's happening. So
Yeah,
that's
I think,
good.
there's a little uncertainty with everything from the political view. And that's kind of what I noticed that after January. I think people were just, they were ready. They felt more comfortable. And I think people are getting used to that the rates are what they are. And so, there's not much to do
You
about
can
it.
only hold out so long when your house
Exactly.
is where you get your extra money from. Eventually, people have a lot of equity and they're just getting tore up by, 20, 25% 5% interest rates on the credit cards are maxed out,
Right.
can't go much further. Cars are at all time delinquency. Credit card debt's at all
Yep.
time high,
All
now
time
getting
high.
all
Yep.
time delinquencies. I saw that FHA loans now, there's as much delinquency as there was in 2008 at the time of that. So you don't hear people
Wow.
talking about it, but yet it's like interesting.
That's
Um,
interesting.
Something's
Thank
going,
you.
and what somebody's hardship becomes somebody else's opportunity. It
Yeah, of
just
course.
that's
Yep.
life, you know.
It is.
Um,
Give
Tell
and
me
take.
this:
Yeah.
everybody knows that you're a loan originator. Everybody knows you can get people into houses, but what do they need to know about who are you when you are not in loan mode? What kind of things you like to do?
Well, I got a couple young ones,
Right on.
7 and 3. So I coach my daughter's t-ball / softball now. That's been fun. But I'm a big outdoor person. That's one thing I love about Colorado Springs. I mean, I love to golf. I play softball. I love to snowboard. Love to go to hikes with my wife and my kids. So I like being outside. And we're lucky here in Colorado Springs. It's 300 days of sun a year. So it's a great place to do it, right here at the foothills of the mountains, and that's I feel like most people who live here, that's a big turn on for to why to stay here, because being here as long as I have been, I've seen such a dramatic change in the scope and the the price of living and everything. It comes when a city gets bigger and bigger. That kind of comes with it, but it's brought good and it's brought bad. We're becoming a lot more diverse, and there's a lot of great places to eat out here now. So I do like to eat too. So I try to stay in shape, but I guess as you get a little older, it gets a little harder. So I like to do stuff outdoors. It kind of helps.
No, you're in a great
That's my
state for
biggest thing.
that.
Yeah.
What was I going to ask? Oh, I went to my son's graduation. I mean, he was out there at Colorado Springs at the academy, and I only came in like once a year on graduation and Parents' Day.
Uh,
But I'm like, man, I was dying. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, man, let's go get you some oxygen.
yeah.
I went to a store and like they're selling these little oxygen packs for
Yeah.
people who can't breathe. I'm like, why is it so hard? He's like, Dad, you're like a mile high right here,
Oh,
and it may be 75 degrees, what you're getting cooked. People are just dropping like flies out there at that football stadium where they did the graduation, and
yeah.
I'm like, dang. I mean, they were on it, but left and right, people were just dropping. I'm like, what is going on? And it says it's intense. It's
Yeah.
if you're not used to it, it's intense.
That altitude will get you. I know bartending a lot. I've had people from out of state be like, "Oh my gosh, is the beer stronger here?" I'm like, "No, your body's just working harder to breathe." So
Heck yeah, we went. I went to Boulder the last time we were there. We have two sets of people. More of the Denver. Shouldn't even say that. Maybe three sets of people in Colorado Springs. That's even a drive to get to South Denver, but it's mostly South Denver and towards Colorado Springs. And we got the people up in Boulder.
yep,
They typically don't want to drive down to that, so we try and do two events. But I've never been to Boulder, and I was walking
that's
through there, and I was like,
it's
okay,
beautiful.
like you're right in those mountains. It's gorgeous. I've never been there. I mean, the whole place is gorgeous as you're driving. One of my best drives is driving. Like you can fly all the way into Colorado Springs, but sometimes that drive is beautiful from the airport all the way into Colorado Springs. It's just a straight drive, but man, you can see forever. Yeah,
Yeah, it's nice with the. I know when I leave, I always miss my mountains. I'm like, where are they at? It's a beautiful sight every day to wake up to. That's for sure.
it is. I really liked it. Um, Appreciate you sharing that with me. It's got some small kids. I like it. So at least you're to that point where you're getting some sleep, but now you're
Yeah,
coaching, so they suck you in.
they are.
You're
Yes,
stuck for life now.
that's all
Um,
right. I love them. They keep me on my toes. That's for sure.
Talk to me about this. Your Colorado Springs isn't the easiest place. That's almost like LA. It's an expensive area. So what's an average first time home buyer got to pay to get and be a homeowner in your area?
Like purchase price. I mean, right now we're seeing it's around 400,000.
Okay. Is that a
Yeah,
townhome or a full blown house?
that's a single family resident.
Okay.
Um, Townhouses, it's 3 to 350, I would say, to 400 in there. But we've noticed, at least what I've noticed, a lot more than there used to be. Now you have a lot of HOA areas,
Okay.
which kind of really has an effect on your monthly payment and what people can qualify for. So, and we didn't see much of that until maybe the last 5 years or so. And there's been a lot of construction. They've been building like crazy. Luckily, this year and towards the end of last year, we have a lot more inventory, but they still say we're thousands, almost, I forget, it was like 3 or 4 thousand houses short at the moment, shortage, even more possibly. I was at a economic forecast meeting last week, and so there's no stopping the building, even though it's slowed down a little bit. It makes a little competition because those new builds, they got they got bills to pay too, so they're offering low rates, and so it
Yeah,
makes it a
they do.
little harder. I lose some to them, but I'm always happy to see my clients get a great deal. So I never. There's always going to be somebody else that wants to resell. So I'm just on to the
Yeah, they
next
buy
one.
those big blocks at a time, and then they got to have the commitment. Some of them aren't hitting their commitments though, because like we can buy a big block, and when I say big block, you're talking you need 400 loans to meet that block based on the area, and you have X amount of time to do it and secure it, and you can get a smaller. I mean, it's like if you bought 400 gallons of gas at a time, they'll give you a little discount, but you got to store it, right? So
Right.
you got
Yeah.
to
Somewhere
store
to put.
that stuff, and eventually it loses its shelf life if you don't get it, and that costs money. You got to come out of pocket to make the market right. And I'm seeing a lot of that on like DR Horton stuff here in Georgia, where they're just not selling the houses, and so they're not hit now. They're having to kick in money. Now we're seeing this, by the way, um, with tariffs, the cost of some of the things that we do, whether it's steel and things like that that are going in some of the building, it's going up by 20%. So they're saying, gosh, we could see an increase in housing prices by 10, 15, 20% in some areas, depending on how they're building the houses, on homes that aren't already buying. But they're like, we're not just going to take it because for some places, that's the only profit they got into it. So something's going to give one way or the other.
Yeah. We've
It's
actually. Sorry.
Change is good,
Yeah.
stagnant's bad, even if
Right.
it feels crazy at
You're either
first.
growing or you're dying, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So yeah, we've seen it's been good for the definitely the buyers, the consumers, because I've started to notice, especially some of the home builders are bringing their prices down a little bit because they were kind of overinflated, like not much, you don't see, but 3 to 5%, and that makes a huge difference for them.
Are
So
they
it's
giving incentives
surprisingly.
if you use their lender? Like, are they giving
Yeah,
money,
they
stuff
pay
like
all the
that?
closing costs. I had one yesterday that I've been working with for a while, but they found a new deal. Yeah, they got them 4.75, paid all their closing costs, and gave them a credit for a brand new washer and dryer. And I'm like, man, that's incredible. I'm happy for you. Tough to compete with, but
I was in California, and we had a lot of inventory on this new area, and had 7 different builders. They were putting in 1,000 homes, or maybe more than that. And this guy built this little thing on the corner because he knew everybody had to enter this thing, this
uh,
development right there, and is like, get your free map here. And you stop. He's passing them out, and it says, do you need any help with any of this? I can give you a free tour. He's a real estate agent, and he wants to
yeah,
walk in with them on that first visit to say, you give me a referral fee. Yeah, take over. You can have them. And I'm like, dude, how are you getting away with that? They're like, you're right on the corner when you come in. It was pretty good for a while, but they might have caught him by now. You never know. Get free
right. I
coffee,
mean, that
get a
was that
house.
was he was thinking outside the box.
He was thinking outside the box. I agree. I agree.
So
What kind of advice you got a lot of people just sitting there. We talked about it earlier that we're seeing some pent up energy, and it's interesting because applications and imports to lenders are up so far, January, February, now March, compared to any other year of the last 3 years since 20 and 21. How about for those people who are just kind of sitting there waiting because they're waiting for that 2% rate to come back?
yeah,
What advice do you give people, like if they're talking to you? You're sitting at the bar and you're like, you know what? You hear that conversation and it's like, well, I'm just going to wait.
yeah,
You ever jump in those conversations?
I do. Right now, even with their interest rates the way they are, it's definitely more of a buyer's market now. Most of the deals I've been doing, I'm seeing a lot of seller concessions. And when more and more people jump into the market, there's gonna be less and less of that. And when you get competition, I don't think it's gonna be anything like 2021, especially here where people are getting $50,000 over asking price. But 5, 10,000 over asking is gonna eliminate any possibility you have of getting seller concessions to help with closing costs and stuff like that, or help buy the rate down to something reasonable. So I mean I tell them not to wait, because you wait now, get a lower rate, but then you get a higher purchase price down the road, and really it just evens out. So I say try to take advantage of the market where it's at now.
Yeah, we're
Some
running into
people
that.
listen, some people don't. So
Yeah, it's like I want this price and I want the seller to pay for it, but I want the lower rate too. And it's like, well, that market is that way because of that. But talk to me about insurance. Are you guys running any insurance issues?
man, yes, they have. Well, recently, we found out we're the second in the country for fires.
Okay,
And
I
they
didn't
had
know
right here
that.
in California, and then and we're like one of the top five for the top three, I think, for hail. So They've done a lot of restructuring. Even my own house last year, my insurance company had to find new homeowners insurance because they left the state. They didn't want to do with Colorado anymore. So now a lot of them are now. I'm definitely quoting a lot higher on my homeowners insurance. Quotes there. And I've noticed a big change. It's it makes a big difference. When you're calculating your debt to income ratio. So
I didn't
um,
understand about the hill. My brother-in-law lives out there, and he's gone through like 4 roofs in 20 years. And these roofs are, I think this last roof, I mean, I didn't realize there are so many stages of roofs that you can get because of that kind of damage. You get
right.
a, stronger, stronger, stronger. But they were kind of forcing him, but he's like, yeah, I just get a new roof. I just turned in, they come out, boom, boom, and it's off. And I'm like, wow. And then I saw one of his cars, his daughter's car, and I was like, oh my God, what happened? He's like, yeah, if you can't get under an overpass and it comes
Oh
through, you're
man,
going to get pounded
it can
with these
destroy it. Yeah.
huge rock like
Oh yeah.
things. I'm thinking,
I've seen it break
ouch.
windshields and back,
Yes.
glass. And I remember one year golf course out at Broadmoor, they
Golf
had
course.
holes that were just like about that big from the in the tees and in the greens and in the tee boxes and greens. It can get pretty, yeah, they get pretty crazy out here. So
No, I never seen it until I've seen it. I was out there. We almost thought opening Expert Home Lending in Colorado, to be honest with you, is one of the spots we went. The weekend I was there, I thought, okay, this is going to be good. I went to my brother-in-law's house, and it felt like 10 degrees or something. I took some water outside and I threw it out, and it turned into snow. And the dogs would run out. They'd run out, do their thing, come all the way back in. I tried to walk out and just stand in his backyard. It was like a snowdrift. I mean, he's got like 2 feet on the ground. It's not like it was 20 feet or anything, but I'm just standing. I'm going 5, 4, 3. I'm okay. I can't do this. I can't do it.
yeah, I got you.
Next was Georgia. We never made it to Texas. We never made it to Florida. Georgia, we went to northern Georgia, and I'm like, okay, it's not Arizona hot. It's a little bit more humid, but it's sunny a lot. We get a lot of rain. It's almost like Hawaii. You get rain for 30 minutes, humidity goes up, but man, everything's green. So we don't really have a lot of fire issues here. We do have some tough weather in the southern part of Georgia towards Florida. That's where you get twisters and hurricanes and all that, especially if you're coming up from the Florida side. So it's interesting. But Florida they're right there with you from the insurance standpoint. I think that's why it's dropped off a lot there. People are trying to figure out what are they going to do with it. Because right now, people don't realize you're waiting for a rate. Now to even make an offer on the house, you got to figure out what the insurance is
Right.
because the insurance might kill your deal once you find out. California, like $20,000 a year. What the hell? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that house is in an area that's almost uninsurable, and that's just the fire. You still have to, State Farm will cover liability, but that's the state fire plan. So you actually have two, and it's like, okay, that's getting to be a little tough.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm always asking people questions, Frank. I know you've only been here 4 months. I have no idea what you know about me or don't know about me. I always want to give you a chance. Is there any questions you might have for me? Anything you want to know about me? You can ask me anything you want. I
Yeah.
have no shame in my game.
I found out your son went to the Air Force Academy, which is awesome. Do you have other kids? Just
I
one?
have 2 sons. Jordan is the one that went for the Air Force Academy. He's here with us now. He's actually one of the owners of Xpert. He got
Yes.
out after like 8 years
Okay.
at the time. And then Jordan played baseball at the academy. And then Justin went to Arkansas. He played baseball there. He's with us here. He's also an owner. Um, Justin was with me at my last company, Answer Home Loans. He was with me there for about 3 years. So he's been with me for about 6 years. Jordan got out of the Air Force and came this way. Jordan's the older of the two. They bring that younger ideas to an old industry. I'm 35 years and they're 6 and 3. And they definitely see it. And then I've got 5 owners here at Xpert, which is by design. I can't do Xpert by myself. It's
No, can't
too
imagine.
big. I knew it had a chance to grow based on my last company. 2 of us ran 150 people, but we knew that this could take off a little bit. It took off faster than we thought, to be honest with you.
Well, I love it
And we
here.
had to start playing some catch up. It's just crazy. A lot of you, over 600 of you now. It's like, wow.
That's
I
awesome.
mean,
I can see
um,
why.
but yeah, it's I'm glad to have my sons with me. Both live here in Georgia. They both just Jordan has a 1-year-old almost, and the other one Justin had him and his wife just had a baby boy, and so now I'm a grandfather twice. That was another thing too, trying to be near my sons as I'm 57 going on 58. I don't want to be a jet setting grandpa if I don't have to be. I've been blessed in some of the risks that I have taken, and Xpert was a risk. My last company was a risk. I learned a lot from the 2008 crash. And I think I feel like I have a good understanding of what I call my success formula of what works. But yeah, I do loans and real estate, but my success formula is a little different. I go, my clients are you. My clients are your real estate agents. If I can make you look good, which helps make them look good, then you get more business and ultimately we get more business, right?
Right. Yeah.
I used to do it opposite. I used to say, okay, I need to make this amount and I'm going to hire people to do this. And it's like, no, I flipped it. I'm the last one to get paid and I'm willing to take less so that the guys on the front line who are out there doing, you got small kids, but yet you might be doing open houses. You're talking loans in the parking lot. People always are going to be pulling your time because they pulled my time. And that's the one thing that I know you're on that front line and you deserve the lion's share. That's why certain industries that I don't understand why they do it opposite. You know, oh, we're going to, because they want to make you an employee so that you're always hungry enough that you got to keep showing up. Man, I don't want you to be an employee. I want you to be an entrepreneur. And I want you and your wife and your family to, what are your hopes? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? How can I help you get to where you want to go? It ain't about just trying to help me on my dreams and my aspirations. And so that's an open-ended invitation to you. I have people call me all the time. Hey, I want to run this by you. I want to run that by you. And I'm like, cool, run it by me. The more successful you are, the more successful this platform is, and ultimately I am. And when I changed my thought process to that, my whole world changed. As far as I used to be a one-person loan officer, then I had 12. And then I had 150. Now I've got 600. And people say, well, why didn't you just do this from day one? I'm like, hell, I was barely a broker for a week. Do you think I could handle 600 people in 44 states? Like, I barely can handle it now. That's why I have so many partners, because by one person, I couldn't do this. There's no way. I'd have to hire people that I don't know. But instead, I have trusted partners. I said, I got this idea. What if you come along? Because you have a strength here. You have a strength. You have a strength. Justin was with me at the last company, so he knew how we did that. Melody Mayer, she runs all of our payouts. She was with me at my last company. Like, we have so many people with different payout formulas and to pay them out every single day.
Yeah.
Like they work overtime. We're automating that for her with some incredible software finally after 3 years. Because they do it all by hand right now. But we have formulas and stuff that fix it. So we've taken Xpert as far as we can without now kicking in the technology part of it. We now have an inside compliance person versus an outside compliance. That helps. They've taken all the audits off my plate, all the examinations that arrive and all that. Because I was doing that. And I'm like, this is not the best use of my time. I need to get out from behind the desk and get out to you guys. And so incredible stuff starting to come your guys' way from coaching opportunities for free from some of the best coaches in the business. Like, this is what's working right now. Because I don't know what's going to help Frank, because what helps Frank might not help Darren. What helps Darren might not help the next person. So it's like, well, here's 5 different ideas. All of them work. Try all 5. Hey, that one didn't work. Cool. But don't go spend 15 grand. Let me spend the 15 grand and all of you can benefit from it. Why more people don't do that, I don't know. They always want you guys to do it all yourself. But yeah, stuff like that. Trying to give you guys every advantage we can, especially when I'm seeing the pent up energy. Hey, eventually the market's going to turn. You're not going to need no help. But in the meantime, if I can get you 1 or 2 extra deals a month, that can be pretty damn life changing, especially when you got a family and a wife. My goal is to make it so it's hard for you to have a second bartending job.
Yeah, well, that's my goal too. I enjoyed it for a long time, but I've stuck with this because I see this as an opportunity to get out of that and still be able to have a life to where I can have time with my family.
Well, I appreciate it because it shows your work ethic. Obviously, you do what you need to do, but there is a light at the end of this tunnel. I promise you. You've gone through one of the hardest. This would be the second hardest time. I've been through a couple turn downs, but not like these ones. This time the real estate values held. Last time they didn't. The real estate values shot down. Yeah. They were going down daily. This time values have held up, knock on wood. Even though rates were high, I thought for sure one would give. Usually you can't have both in the same market, but it has.
It has. It's sustained.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Frank, those are my questions for you. I wanted to catch you on camera. I wanted to see if I could introduce people to you so that they know that you're not just a loan originator, man. There's a human back there. There's somebody with, you're a family man. You're an outdoorsman. You bartender on the side, and you can make any drink under the sun. Like, you have a lot of attributes. And by the way, you also can help people with loans, with purchases, with refis, and you have that knowledge. I hate when people put you in a little box and they just throw all you and everybody else in, because I'm like, no, if he's with Xpert, there's probably a much deeper thought process there, because we don't just hire average people. We don't partner with average people. And now I know why. Now I know why. You didn't let me down today, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to meet with me.
Thank you, Rich. I appreciate you as well, sir. I'm happy to be a part of Xpert, and I look forward to the future for sure.
Right on. Like we always say when we close out a Mortgage Ballers, we yell out, stay thirsty, my friends.
All right. Sounds good, man. Take care.
All right. Take care, Frank.
Thanks, Rich.